Hey everyone! So, let's talk about a situation many of us might find ourselves in, that feeling of looking at your bank account and realizing most of your balance is, well, not really yours. Maybe you used a buy now pay later service for a phone upgrade, or perhaps that weekend getaway felt a little too good to be true now that the bill has arrived. Whatever the reason, you've dipped into pre-allocated funds, and the question looms large: how do you actually pay back prepay? Now, before we dive into strategies, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. Prepay services can be a double-edged sword. On the one hand, they offer a much-needed financial buffer, a way to access something you might not be able to afford up front. But on the other hand, there's always the risk of falling into a cycle of debt, constantly playing catch-up with prepayments while new purchases pile on. So, if you're here because prepay feels more like a burden than a benefit, take a deep breath. You're not alone, and there are absolutely ways to climb out of that prepay hole. Step 1. Assess the damage. First things first, let's get a clear picture of what you're dealing with. Gather all your prepay statements and receipts. List down each service, the outstanding amount, and any deadlines or interest rates attached. This will be your financial war map, helping you prioritize your repayments. Step 2. Trim the fat, without starving yourself. Look at your monthly expenses. Are there subscriptions you can cancel? Maybe that daily coffee run can become a weekly treat instead? Every little bit you cut back frees up more money to put towards prepay. Remember, this isn't about living a life of deprivation, but about making smart adjustments to free up some breathing room. Step 3. Create a repayment plan and stick to it. Now, based on your prepay situation and your current income, create a realistic repayment plan. There are two main approaches. The avalanche method: this strategy focuses on tackling the debt with the highest interest rate first. By prioritizing high-interest prepay services, you save money on those pesky fees in the long run. The snowball method: this method focuses on paying off the smallest prepay amounts first. Seeing those smaller debts disappear quickly can be a great motivator to keep going and chip away at the larger ones. Choose the approach that works best for you, and remember, consistency is key. Set up automatic payments if possible, or schedule reminders to ensure you don't miss a deadline. Step 4. Explore additional income streams, but don't get swamped. If your budget feels particularly tight, consider picking up a side hustle. Freelance gigs, online marketplaces, or even local odd jobs can bring in some extra cash specifically dedicated to prepay repayment. Just be mindful not to overload yourself. Remember, the goal is to become debt-free, not burnt out. Step 5. Communicate before things get out of hand. Sometimes, life throws unexpected curveballs. If you're struggling to meet a prepaid deadline, don't be afraid to reach out to the provider. Explain your situation and see if there are any options for adjusting your payment plan. Remember, most providers would rather work with you to find a solution than have to chase after a defaulted payment. Remember, getting out of prepaid debt is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be days when motivation dips, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep moving forward. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small. Even a minor reduction in your prepaid balance is a victory. Finally, once you're free from the burden of prepay, don't fall back into old habits. Consider setting aside some emergency savings to avoid relying on prepay services in the future. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time /